It's Red Eye Radio. Gary McNamara and Eric Harley talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or you're just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, this is Red Eye Radio.
All across America, we are Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. I got an email that I haven't read yet that you read.
Yeah, we both got an email.
Oh, okay. We both got it.
I logged into your email for you.
Okay.
By the way, if something comes from Amazon, it's for me. Anyway, so we got an email from a great listener, Susan. She writes us, Gary, are you finally out of Jasmine Crockett's district based on the SCOTUS decision?
Not for another 11 months.
Yeah.
No. It would be another year.
Is it a year? Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be over a year.
So,
Not for another year. And I might be anyway, because as we brought to you the other day, she is the leading candidate to win a Democrat primary in the state of Texas for a Senate seat.
Yeah.
Please.
Oh, please.
Yeah. Are we allowed? I don't. We're we work for a secular company.
Right. Are we allowed to?
Am I allowed
pray
to
for
pray
something like that?
Please, God, make that happen.
I don't know if it will be heard,
please,
but
please.
Well,
all I want for Christmas is for her to run for Senate.
That's right. Oh yeah. Let the entire state feel the pain.
Yeah.
But so Susan, thank you. That was a good and very timely question.
Yeah, and we'll get to the specifics of that.
Yeah.
Well, look, huh. I think we're on a roll here.
What do we got?
Because we said we expect that the Supreme Court will allow Texas to keep the districts. Interesting, though, they had that decision before the Louisiana decision.
That's a great point.
Yeah, because I always thought that
I didn't put that together,
which might give us an indication of what will happen in the Louisiana decision.
Right.
We'll get to that a little bit later on.
Yeah,
because we have to. But we were right in predicting that.
Yep.
But also this one.
Mm-hmm.
I got to find a third one because this is the second one. You ready for this?
Okay.
Here's a headline from the Free Beacon. Kathy Hochul backtracks on no new taxes pledge following Mamdani win.
We told you so.
New York Governor Kathy Hochul, who has long insisted she will not increase taxes, is reportedly moving towards supporting tax hikes following the victory of Mamdani.
Yep.
She is now reconsidering a position she had treated as non-negotiable all year, Politico reported Thursday.
Now, come January, the real governor of New York State is Mamdani. You're no longer in charge, Hochul. Sorry. No, we knew this was going to happen.
So listen to what she's saying, though. This is the beauty of it. She told Fox 5 on Wednesday that she still opposes raising income taxes, which would be just on the people of New York City. That'd be the billionaire tax in New York City.
Right.
But she's quietly discussing a potential corporate tax rate increase across the state to support just New York City.
Which, of course, is passed on by corporations to the people.
To the people, yes. But so it affects everybody. Everybody in the state has to pay for what New York City wants.
Not just the billionaires.
Yes, not just the billionaires in New York City.
Corporate taxes go up. They pass that on to the consumer.
But it even makes our point more valid, where we said liberalism, the biggest flaw in liberalism in the United States is liberals do not want to pay for what they want. Because if you're going to do it, if you sit there and say, New York City wants to do this, then go ahead, tax the billionaires in New York City if you feel that's the way to do it.
Right.
But what they're saying is, we don't want anybody to pay for it here in New York City. We want the entire state of New York, people that will never see benefits from the increase because corporate tax rates are passed down
Right.
to the people, which is again why Democrats you absolutely love a corporate tax rate, because you look at the people that vote for you and you say these people are the biggest suckers on the planet. We've got the poor and the middle class believing that we punish companies.
Yep. Another prediction of ours. It happened. In fact, it's happening faster than we thought.
Oh, yeah.
Because of Hochul's implied support here. It's happening faster than we thought, because we said, look, go after the billionaires are gone. And then what happens? You're the one left with the bill. Somebody's got to pay for it.
Right.
That's going to be you. Well, they went straight to the people on this in a way that the left always does. We'll just hide it through corporate taxes, which is a tax on the consumer, which means everybody pays it. Every consumer in New York is going to pay for this.
For what New York City wants.
For what New York City wants. And it's not the billionaires, it's everybody.
And this takes us back to how we know, how we're not surprised by this whatsoever, because we go back to the place and we've asked, this is one of those questions that will never be answered by any Democrat. We'll never get an email on it. We'll never get anything on Twitter on it. Now somebody will put something on Twitter like, you guys are morons, and that will be the response.
Yeah. Production staff just did it.
Okay. Yeah. We will never hear, just like we've never heard from anyone ever in my, what is it now? I don't know, 30-something years in talk radio. Was it 30 going on?
I thought it was 70-something.
This is my 37th year, whatever it is in talk radio.
Yeah.
No one, and I've been asking the question since I've been a talk radio host, what's a fair share?
Right. Define fair.
Define fair. Define the rich need to pay their fair share. What is that?
Right.
Nobody can ever answer that question.
Right.
And when people are actually asked, we've seen the polling on it.
Mm-hmm.
People believe that the rich actually pay less than they do.
Right.
Let me put this correct. When people are asked what is a fair rate, it's always lower than what they actually pay.
And now Hochul, if she follows through with this plan and they do increase the corporate tax rate in New York State, this is somebody who, by default, if she's not going to do the go after the billionaires thing, and she's already said, why she wouldn't. She might. I don't know what will happen in the future, but say she doesn't, she's given the billionaires a pass, and she's passing this directly on to everybody in New York State.
Right. What a great point. And that was sitting right in front of me.
And protecting the billionaires.
Right.
By not going after them first.
She's protecting the billionaires, and like every liberal on corporate taxes, lying to you that somehow the corporations are going to be punished when it's actually a stealth tax that hurts the poor and the middle class. This is what they do. But in essence, the other picture is they don't want the people of New York City that voted for all this crap to pay for it.
Right.
They want other people to pay for
That's
it.
right.
Just like you saw in California and in Colorado and in Vermont, when they all had the opportunity to have government health care.
Right.
In the most liberal places in the United States, they had the ability to do it.
Yep.
And they said no, because we can't afford to do it. Well, then why would you think the United States can afford to do it? Oh, because we can tax the unborn.
That's right.
We can tax people that don't exist. We'll borrow money to do it, which brings the question, why do liberals not want to pay for what they want? Why don't they want to? You have the opportunity in the United States already to have your beautiful liberal nirvana.
Yes.
You've got Illinois, you've got New York, you've got California. All you have to do is say, we're going to be as socialist as possible. We are going to redistribute income. We're going to do it all. And we are going to show people that our economic system works better than those states that believe that capitalism is better for lifting people out of poverty than socialism. You have your ability to do it, and you won't do it.
Right. You got elected to do it.
Right.
And you won't do it.
And New York City won't do it either.
No.
New York City, well, let's do the communists. Well, we don't want to. We're not going to tax the billionaires. We'll tax the poor.
That's right.
And the middle class to pay for what New York City wants. Please, someone tell us where we're wrong on that. You can't. Any Democrat, you can't.
Those billionaires, by the way, who are part of those corporations that will see that tax increase, they know how this works. They know the math. They know the books. They know the ledger. They've got their bean counters saying, no, we'll just raise the cost of our goods or services and or lay people off, create the efficiency to make up for it.
If you want greed, look at the Democratic Party. That's greed. That's the whole thing when corporations are greedy. Excuse me. Corporations are selling a product or a service. You can voluntarily buy it or not.
Right.
Nobody is forcing you to do it.
Right.
If you consider that greed, then people saying we don't want to pay for the services that we get, we want to tax other people that will never get the benefit.
I want somebody else to pay my way.
Well, my God, if you want damn greed, you got it there. That's greedy.
Mm-hmm.
Democrats are the greedy ones. By the way, why aren't Republicans talking like this?
I don't know. I have no idea. This is so easy.
Because we're afraid he can't.
Man, the first thing I'd do is I'd start a massive ad campaign in New York State, just everywhere, just plaster it everywhere.
God.
You're going to pay this through the corporate tax rate. You're going to see an increase in the cost of doing business in New York, which is passed on to you, the consumer.
Right.
And regardless of your income level, not the billionaires like they promised they were going to go after, and Hochul's making it do it, she's making it happen. And if this does go through, she'll be protecting the billionaires and going after you.
Yeah, right. She wants the poor and the middle class to pay for what Mamdani wants.
Yeah.
So you can give New York City everything that they want,
That's right.
and you get nothing out of it.
That's right.
And the billionaires don't have to pay a damn cent.
That's right.
That's the Democratic Party in 2025.
That's right. Come on, Rochester. Come on.
Come on, Buffalo.
Come on.
Come on. Come on, Cheektowaga. I know it's Cheektowaga. I had to say
yeah. Come on. You love this, right?
Come on.
You do.
Come on, Niagara Falls.
Right.
Come on, town of Tonawanda, city of Tonawanda, and North Tonawanda. You all pay. I grew up in the town of Tonawanda, by the way. Let me throw in Kenmore there, too.
Yeah,
How about
as well.
We'll throw in West Seneca. How about, wait a minute, where all the billionaires are in Western New York?
That's right.
Orchard Park.
Oh.
Where the Bill Stadium is.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's go, Bills.
That's
right back to Hochul every time.
Well, basically what she said is I'm not going to tax the rich.
Right.
I'm going
to tax the people.
I'm going to protect. The biggest lie that Democrats have got away with since I've been paying attention to politics for a half century now is that corporate taxes punish the corporations.
Right.
And they pass them on, and Democrats love it. They love lying to the poor and the middle class. They love it. Why?
Yep.
Because they know, they look at the poor and the middle class that vote Democrat and say, you're the biggest bunch of suckers ever. We're taxing you, and we're lying to you that it punishes corporations, and you idiots are buying it.
You're gonna pay for it. You don't have a choice.
Right.
You're going to pay for it, and you'll never see it on an invoice. It's not going to be listed on your receipt. Here's how much of this is corporate tax rate.
Yeah.
No.
You don't see it. It's a stealth tax.
Remember, what was it in Philly when they did the sugar tax on sodas? And the store owners posted in the stores due to the new sugar tax. This is why a 12-pack of soda went up to $21 or whatever it was. Yeah. And the local leaders who implemented that tax were like, you can't do that.
Right. You
You can't make them aware of that.
That was fantastic. I remember
That foils our plan.
Remember there were streets. It's like because they were doing it. It's cheaper over here.
Right, exactly.
Cross the street.
Across the street.
We're not in Philly.
Well, that's exactly what they want. You're not going to see this on an invoice. You'll pay it.
Right.
You'll see prices go up.
Democrats love taxing the poor and the middle class with stealth taxes so they don't see it.
Then you know what they'll do? Hochul will do an investigation on gouging. We want to see, because they always do this in the wake of such stupid moves. We're going to investigate to see if these companies are gouging the people.
Right. They create the gouging.
Right.
And then want to investigate it.
Yeah. How did this house fire start? You're holding the torch.
Oh, my gosh.
Man, it's so... We would love, and we said this in our pre-show meeting, we'd love to say we're the great prognosticators. We've just been doing this a while, folks. It's predictable.
Yeah.
This is where it was going.
That's how liberalism works.
Yep.
By the way, I didn't want to forget Syracuse, Glen Falls,
Yes.
Geneva, New York, where I began my radio career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't Rochester the home of the garbage plate?
Yeah. Yeah. I'd say Ithaca, but they're so liberal, they deserve what they get.
They probably support it. They'll have a rally saying, yay, more corporate tax rates.
Binghamton, Corning, Salamanca.
Mm.
What did I forget? There's one more I forgot.
Poughkeepsie.
No, Poughkeepsie.
Let's go to Poughkeepsie. That's the only Larry King impression. Let's go to Poughkeepsie. Which is also what he said to his wife after he retired. Let's go to Poughkeepsie.
Wow. We are Red Eye Radio.
Brought to you by Hot Shot Secret.
Hi, I'm Jen Loomis, a transport safety expert at J.J. Keller. In order to manage speed, you need to understand the 4 factors involved in stopping a vehicle. Perception distance is the distance a vehicle travels from the time you see a hazard until your brain recognizes it. The perception time for an alert driver is approximately 3/4 of a second. Reaction distance is the distance a vehicle travels from the time your brain tells your foot to move from the accelerator until your foot hits the brake pedal. The average driver has a reaction time of 3/4 of a second. Brake lag distance also needs to be taken into account. When operating a vehicle with air brakes, it takes about half a second for the mechanical operation to take place. Finally, braking distance is the distance it takes a vehicle to stop once the brakes are applied. Braking distance is affected by the weight, length, and speed of the vehicle, as well as road condition. This tip was brought to you by J.J. Keller and Associates. Visit us at jjkeller.com.
Get in touch with Red Eye Radio, toll free at 866-90-RED-EYE.
We are Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. The problem is when you start mentioning all the cities that are in New York that are going to have to pay for what New York City wants, you miss some, and people are like, you miss my city. Okay, Olean, Jamestown, birthplace of Lucille Ball, and the small enclave I forgot that I couldn't remember, Killbuck.
Oh.
Killbuck, New York.
All right.
You just wonder where they got that name from, right?
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of deer in that area.
Okay. All right. Yeah. A buddy of mine that I knew here from Texas moved up there to upstate, worked as a guide in the Adirondacks for a long time. I don't know if he's retired now, but loves it.
Yeah. All right. They got throwing Glen Falls then.
All right.
Got throwing Glen Falls.
All right.
And you know.
Very nice.
Where they hold the basketball championships. Killbuck is right next to Salamanca, which is about 80 miles, 80, 85, 90 miles south of Buffalo.
All right.
Directly south.
Yeah.
Right where the Allegheny Mountains begin.
We want to remember all of them because they're all going to be paying for it. It's coming, folks. We didn't want it. We don't want it. But Hochul, Mamdani, and the Democratic Party, they're going to make it happen.
to Red Eye Radio from the Uniden America Studios.
We are Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. But if Hochul now indicating that she is more favorable towards taxing all the people in New York State for what Mamdani wants in just New York City and not taxing the billionaires, I will tell you one positive that might come out of this. It might increase Elise Stefanik's chances of winning.
Well,
in November.
There's that.
And that's the one thing you would get. Let's go to Tim in Texas. Tim, welcome. You're on Red Eye Radio. Hi, Tim. Welcome to the show.
Hey, guys. Great topic. And I want to just let people understand, okay, when you increase the corporate tax rate, the companies and these corporations aren't that generous. They're just going to pass on the cost to the consumer, which, to your point, it hurts the lower and upper, even the middle class. Just like raising the minimum wage. I always bring the example. You can raise the minimum wage to $100 an hour if you're willing to pay $15 a gallon for milk. And that's all they're doing. And they just lie about it. And it's just so aggravating because it's just simple math.
Yep.
Well, when you put, I guess the perfect example would be as gasoline prices are coming down and now the panic in California that gas prices are going to remain high. There's a reason that gas prices are way higher in California than the rest of the country.
Yep.
Regulation and taxes on gasoline, which they pass on to the consumer, because when you live in a particular state, there are certain things that people have to buy.
Yep.
They can't go, and if they can go to another state, or if a city attempts to do it, they can go to the suburb, like the soda tax in Philadelphia, where people just said, "Well, I'm going to cross the street to do it," and then the city council went crazy when you had people in Philadelphia, the merchants posting, as Eric just said before, that this is the reason why soda pop cost this amount, and then they got furious. Well, wait a minute. This is supposed to be a stealth tax.
Right.
You can't tell people.
Right.
Because then people that are poor and middle class will get upset realizing that they're being taxed.
Well, remember the airline tickets. Thank you, Tim, for the call.
Yeah.
The airline tickets, when they wanted to do that, and it's like, okay, well, we'll break it down. We'll break down the cost. And no. You just need to show them the total cost.
Yeah, that was a beautiful one, because the bill was this bill was promoted that, okay, it's wrong that airlines, for example, the airlines used to put on the flight cost is $300.
Yeah.
And then you go to check out, and it would say our cost $300, taxes and fees this. And so you would see exactly, it would be lined out what you're actually paying.
Yep.
And they said that's a lack of transparency.
Right.
And so we need full transparency. Tell us what the total price is.
Right.
And we were dying laughing, going, "What do you mean?" And I buy airline tickets all the time.
Right.
Now, I always pay attention because, no matter what. But the fact is, what they were doing was laying out so you could see and get upset. This is what the airline charges.
Yeah.
These are all the fees that we're not responsible for.
Yeah.
Well, the government didn't want to see that.
No.
But I will say this also with, and this is something that's biting back on the president right now. And we said it about tariffs. When you increase the cost of doing business, doesn't matter whether you do it. Doesn't matter whether it's a tariff. Doesn't matter whether you believe it's justified. All taxes, all tariffs are attempted to be justified in some manner. Right. Some are legit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But when you say, and this was a couple of weeks ago, when the administration came out, see, the Fed came out and said that tariffs actually lower costs, long-term tariffs lower cost. And if you read into it, it said, well, yeah, tariffs have the ability to lower cost because it'll crash an economy. People can't afford to buy things, and therefore the inventory will go up, and supply and demand, if they can't sell it, the price will go down.
Right.
So what you're saying is if you put the country into a recession, then tariffs can lower prices.
Right.
If that's what you're attempting to sell the American public, you're not going to win. People aren't stupid. They understand that well, some people are. Democrat voters that keep believing that corporations are punished. I'm sorry, you're ignorant, You're either willfully ignorant,
If you're giving them your vote,
you're stupid.
You're helping them do that. That's you're facilitating that.
If you believe it, and I've always said that's the biggest lie that Democrats have successfully marketed since I've been paying attention to politics over the last 50 years.
Yeah,
It really is. It's the
it is. It's corporate taxes, the sugar tax in Philly, the whole airline thing, the national debt. There's no problem with the national debt. 38 trillion. 38 trillion. No problem. It's fine. $1 trillion in interest per year. It's fine. Because you don't have to pay it, somebody else will pay it.
Well, they believe that, look, we can convince people that the reality of economics doesn't exist. Since I said it yesterday, what did I call it yesterday? The delusion of what?
The delusion, the culture of delusion.
The culture of delusion.
Yeah.
Right. And the culture of delusion in economics exists all the time. And the delusion comes from we can throw out basically a meme. See how I've advanced? We don't say bumper sticker anymore.
That's right. We say meme.
We say yeah, exactly. We say meme. Digital memes.
That's right.
Because they're all digital memes.
That's right.
But we can throw a slogan out, and people are idiots, and they'll buy into it.
Mm-hmm.
So we can say, tax those evil corporations. We'll punish them. And they pass it on to you.
Yep.
No, they don't. No, they don't. No, they don't. No, they don't. And Tim, when he just called from Texas and was talking about, the corporate taxes, I remember the mental gymnastics a couple of years ago that Democrats were trying to get you to believe, especially on gasoline prices.
Oh, yeah.
That, we need to have and this was Obama was in, and Obama was like, is Obama a genius? Yeah, because he's looking at the people that vote for him and go, I'm smart enough to realize these people are idiots. And I can sit there and tell them, well, no, if we tax these oil companies, they're not going to pass it on to the consumer.
Windfall profits tax.
Right.
That's what they wanted to do,
right.
And they wanted to put that on corporate,
right.
On the oil companies.
And then it's like, well, no, then the prices will go up. No, they won't do it. What do you mean? You're saying they're greedy. If they're greedy and you increase the cost all across the country and people can't go anywhere else to get their gasoline, of course they're going to pass it on to the consumer. Example, California.
Yep.
And they still try to sell it over and over and over and over again. One of the most frustrating things I will say over the last 50 years is seeing computers come in. Seeing computers come in and the fact that we have access instantaneously to information. There isn't anything that we do on this show that you can't look up in 30 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
And find out what the truth is on it.
Yep.
And we seem to have a more ignorant willfully ignorant population than we've ever had before. And we go back to it was Patton Oswalt on the actor on Bill Maher.
Yeah, on Bill Maher's podcast.
And a number of topics, Bill Maher's like, you got to get off blue sky. You don't even know what the truth is.
Right. You don't even know what the debate is.
Right. You don't even know what the debate is. You don't even know what the other side is saying.
Right.
You don't even know what's going on. And there was somebody else, too, that he had on. There was another person.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, you don't even, he was saying, I'm a liberal, but that's not even the argument the right's making. This is the argument.
Right.
Well, I haven't heard that one. And then Bill Maher was like, get off of blue sky.
Right. No, I mean, but that's it. Just pretend like it doesn't exist. Pretend that national debt doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Pretend that corporate tax rates aren't higher. And the left, the Democratic Party, gets away with it by saying these corporations are wrong for passing that on to you. Because that's inevitably the conversation that will happen in the media. Governor Hochul, corporations will pass it on. They better not. We'll be watching them closely. I don't know why she sounds like Al Gore. That's not even a good impression of her at all. That is a lot more Al Gore-ish, isn't it?
And then the significant portion of the population of New York will say, will do give the Kevin Bacon answer. Thank you, sir. May I have another?
Yep.
Thank you, sir. May I have another?
Yeah.
Punish me again.
Right.
Punish me again.
Right. Hey, that free bus ride. Oh, man. Can't wait for that, huh? All right.
But
all aboard.
But I'm telling you, the one political good thing is, and this is from somebody who grew up in New York, and I was a talk show host for a decade in Niagara Falls and Buffalo. I started my talk radio career actually in Niagara Falls. 10 years I spent, 10 and a half years there. If you want to change the mood of people, exactly what Hochul is doing by saying we're not going to tax the billionaires in New York City or anybody in New York City. Now, the companies there would have to pay also the corporate tax, the increase in the corporate tax of New York City.
Yeah.
But the whole point is what New York City wants, New York City can't pay for alone. They need the rest of New York to pay it for them. You want to rally people? You want to even get local news stations. Local news stations in Rochester, Buffalo, Syracuse.
Yep.
You know, all of, you know, Albany, Schenectady. Get all these local TV stations saying, and you can even do it on the liberal enclaves of Long Island. And you promote the fact, if Mamdani wants to do it, because this is where you get into the self-interest. If you want to win, you talk self-interest economics.
Yeah.
You're having to pay for what New York City wants.
Exactly.
That's a very simple political message.
Yep. By the way,
and
that has been very clear, and I've never even been to New York City, but everybody that does what we do knows that about that state. That everybody else in the state is bailing out New York City for their liberal policies. That is the idea that if you're going to increase taxes and all of that, and the people, and you have to remind people that not everybody in New York is New York State is a liberal.
No, you when they've tried to pass some of the gun laws, you go in when I forgot what the last one was. It the Save Act? I forgot what it was. I'll never forget. That goes back about 8-10 years ago.
Yeah.
And I would visit my parents, and you get out of Buffalo, you get into Amherst and Clarence, and then you get out to the the rural areas between Rochester and Buffalo, and then north of Buffalo going up through Niagara County and Niagara Falls all the way up to Lake Ontario, all these rural areas. You see all these signs, Second Amendment signs that you get people, and it's the same with Oregon. People think that everybody in Oregon is liberal, and they're not.
Right.
And the same in New York. You find extremely conservative people in New York, in the suburbs and the rural area. But because of New York City and many of the cities, they just can't. It's very tough for them. To win elections. But there is, I will call it a bitterness that I have known of. And I go even past 50 years because I remember my uncles talking about it way back then. So this has to go back to the 60s. So we're going on 60 years. The bitterness of the people saying, why does New York City control everything? Well, they got more of the population. That's why.
Right.
But this is something that with social media that you have, all the acts that you have, Republicans could market the daylights out of this.
This is an easy one.
Now, this may be just a trial balloon for her saying it to the TV station, but now she's opened the door. She's opened the door to all the Mamdani supporters and the liberals in the state legislature in New York City to say, okay, we got her now.
Yep.
She's got to raise taxes.
Right.
We are Red Eye Radio.
Coming up, more with Gary McNamara and Eric Harley. It's Red Eye Radio.
Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. So it's going to be interesting to see, but I think that politically, I'm not surprised that Hochul said that to the TV station, that her thought process now is not to tax the billionaires in New York City to pay for what New York City wants, but to tax the entire state of New York to pay for what New York City wants. Right. But I really think first thing I thought about that was I burst out laughing, number one. Well, probably because I won't the cost won't be passed on to me here in Texas. But number two, I just went, whoa. I saw one poll Hochul down by 20. Now again, it's so early, but not Hochul, Elise Stefanik down by 20. I'm like, well, if you want to cut into that, this is how to do it.
This is how you do it.
Top of the Hour News is brought to you by House Products. Visit houseproducts.com.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One. Now, it's Red Eye Radio. Gary McNamara and Eric Harley talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or you're just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, this is Red Eye Radio.
All across America, we are Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Oh, my gosh, I don't even know how to explain that.
Yeah.
We
just have a lot of fun around here.
Yeah, just a lot of fun. We had our printer broke, so we have to go halfway across the building.
We have to go over into Jasmine Crockett's district to get the stuff off the other printer. That's how far it is.
Right, and I do all the printing, so I've gone and get it, and everybody knows I have. I got a little bit of tendonitis in my ankle.
Yeah,
and like the most of the time, either Alan or Ron, our great producers, will go down and get it. And today I did it, so I just opened the door right before we went on the air, and I went, I had to walk down and get it myself. And then Eric said, we need to get Gary a golf cart.
Yeah, where's Gary's golf cart?
And then Ron said, you have our empathy.
Yeah, yes. Yeah.
That's
we're empathetic.
That's what set off
we feel your pain.
There was laughter throughout it all, and then that was right before we went on the air. You whispered that in our headphones, and that was...
We really do love our job.
Yeah.
It's just great. It really is. We have so much fun.
And by the way, someone's going to say, I didn't know it was that bad, Gary. It's not. I'm exaggerating.
Right.
I have no problem walking down there. It was just... All of it was just... It's Friday. We're ribbing everybody.
Right. It's a reason to rib the crew and before we get out of here.
Exactly.
I put in a very long work week.
Shut up.
A full 3 days.
You were 3 days this week.
This is my third and counting.
You're just garbage.
Yeah, that's right. Thanks, Joe Biden.
Well, no, I love the fact that the criticism is Amy Klobuchar. Yeah. No human being is garbage, Mr. President. Shame on you for saying so.
Yeah.
And then this has been all over social media. I want to play this audio cut here.
Yeah.
This is all over social media. Here we go. It's like
or Puerto Rico, where I'm in my home state of Delaware. They're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is just supporters.
Meaning Trump supporters are garbage.
Yeah. Not Trump himself.
Right.
The supporters.
Trump supporters are garbage.
Wow. Why wasn't he a two-term president again? Remind me.
But since the whole Somali thing is just blowing up.
Oh, my gosh.
Just to get in just a couple of paragraphs here from the Wall Street Journal, the great entitlement state grift.
Mm.
The giant Minnesota fraud shows that the GOP reformers are right. What happens when welfare becomes not a temporary hand-up, but an ingrained expectation of American life? The pathology of dependency.
Yep.
For an ugly glimpse, look at the astonishing fraud unfolding in Minnesota. Turns out those GOP reformers were right to call out fraud in the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. The White House this week published a memo titled, "Yes, there's something wrong with WALS, and it cost taxpayers $1 billion," highlighting various swindles in the land of 10,000 lakes. There may be as many fraud schemes as lakes in the state, given the ease in which scammers tapped government funds. Some 86 individuals have been charged now with defrauding Medicaid and the Federal Child Nutrition Program in Minnesota. Yes, literally stealing lunch money from children.
Wow.
No one was doing anything about the red flags, one defendant's attorney told the New York Times. It was like someone was stealing money from the cooking jar, and they just kept refilling it.
Yeah.
In one alleged scheme, the outfit Feeding Our Future recruited individuals to set up a network of sham companies and sites that claimed to feed children in the pandemic. The scammers then submitted false invoices and fake attendance rosters to the state. One swiped names from the website. I'm not making this up.
Oh, what?
www.listofrandomnames.com.
Wow.
After state officials flagged suspect filings, Feeding Our Future cried racial discrimination, and the money kept flowing. Just scream racial discrimination, nobody will look at it.
Yeah.
According to the federal indictment, individuals in the network then laundered the money to buy luxury vehicles, residential and commercial real estate in Minnesota, real estate in Kenya and Turkey, and other extravagant gifts.
Wow.
In another scheme, a 28-year-old woman allegedly launched a company, Smart Therapy, that claimed to provide one-on-one behavioral therapy to autistic children. She employed relatives with no formal education and recruited parents to enroll their non-autistic kids in her therapy sessions by paying them kickbacks of up to $1,500 per month per child.
Whoa.
In a darkly comic twist, some parents allegedly then extorted the woman by threatening to enroll their children in other autism centers if they weren't paid bigger kickbacks.
Wow.
This is a comic twist because they didn't have autism.
Yeah.
Smart Therapy allegedly billed Medicaid for kids' fake therapy as well as their transportation to the appointments. It also submitted false claims for meals to the state's food programs. In another indictment, 8 individuals this fall were charged with fraudulently billing Medicaid to help recovering addicts find stable housing. Yes, Housing Minnesota pioneered the use of Medicaid money to help beneficiaries secure housing on the questionable rationale that this would improve their health and reduce health care spending. Wow. There's no evidence that it has done either. Rather than help shelter recovering addicts, the defendants allegedly laundered millions of Medicaid dollars to enrich themselves. Cost for Minnesota Medicaid housing program initially estimated at $2.6 million a year, ballooned to $104 million last year.
Wow.
As it became a fund for grifters. We reported on the Biden administration's Medicaid waivers that let states use federal funds to pay for housing, food, transportation, sports fees, and even Native American herbal remedies and exorcisms. The Biden team wanted to give states more federal dollars to spend on social services without Congress appropriating the money. Medicaid spending runs on autopilot like Medicare and Social Security. Most states receive between $1 and $9 federal dollars for every one they spend on the program. The largest fund match is to disincentive to police fraud. How much more hasn't been uncovered because nobody has looked?
Right.
Democrats blame the mess in Minnesota on the rush to distribute COVID relief. That's doubtful. Federal and state prosecutors in New York this year have charged dozens of companies with fraudulently billing Medicaid for driving beneficiaries to appointments that never occurred or inflating mileage of their trips. Mr. Trump is highlighting that the alleged Minnesota scammers are ethnic Somalis. It's true that Minnesota's generous welfare state has become a magnet for Somali immigrants, but the main problem isn't ethnicity or migration. It's the incentives for fraud at the heart of the welfare state. All that free money with few guardrails is an invitation to theft. It is true, but also if you live in a culture where you rip off the government.
Right, yeah.
Which, again, has been brought up with many Somalis. Not all.
Right.
But they rip off the government all the time. It has become part of the culture. Everybody rips off everybody else. And so when you look at that, and we've talked about culture, you can't ignore culture in this.
No.
It's not skin color. It's the culture that you come from, and we've gone over that the past couple of days. The Wall Street Journal just shouldn't bypass that as if it's nothing.
I agree.
All of us could commit fraud in some way.
Oh, sure.
I could commit fraud. You could commit fraud. We don't. Why? Because our culture tells us you don't do that.
Right. Right.
There are some, I'll never forget the time that, and this goes back 30 years ago, when I went to an ATM, and the ATM said, I took out $40, gave me 60. There's a little piece of gum like sticking between the two 20s. I went in that Monday and gave the 20 back, and everybody was shocked.
Yeah.
And I talked about it on the air, and I worked for a conservative, one of the most conservative talk stations there are. And half my listeners called and said I was an idiot because if the bank made that mistake, if the reverse happened, the bank wouldn't give me the money back. And I said, well, it doesn't matter what anybody else does. It's what I would do.
Right.
So, but that's a culture that also exists in our country, that people would sit there and say, no, you're allowed to rip off a company because they would rip you off if it was reversed. And they necessarily would not rip you off, but that was a justification. If somebody does wrong, somebody else does. Now, I don't believe it's a majority in our culture that believe that, but there's a vocal amount that actually believe that with the demonization and where we are today with the groupies. You killed a healthcare president. Will you marry me?
Yeah.
I'll marry you, and when you go to prison, I'll marry you.
Well, the moment
Please have sex with me.
The moment it happened, you had a lawmaker, AOC, justifying the murder of Brian Thompson.
Right.
In cold blood, saying that you have to understand when people get their claims denied, they see that as an act of violence.
Right. So in a culture where everybody rips off the government if they can, you can't ignore.
And murder is justified.
Right. I'm talking about Somali here, but we're talking about, murder is justified over there too, I'm sure. But when you look at here, you can see, now it's not the majority of our culture, but that's a culture that these people live in.
Right.
Where they go, well, you should rip them off because they'd rip you off. Doesn't matter what anybody else does. It's what I do. That's the culture I was brought up in.
Right.
That you don't do it. You and I have talked about this before. I've walked into the store and walked out. The beeper, it hasn't gone on. I've looked down in my cart and there's something sitting there. I walk back and I pay for it. Why? And I'll never forget when callers said, why would you do that? I said, it's not mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they wouldn't. Doesn't matter what anybody else does.
I found a wallet that was one morning. It was right before sunup in a parking lot at a gas station, this gas station in my neighborhood that I've lived in for 30 years now. And I went in, and one of the owners is there in the morning, Ike, and I said, Ike, this is somebody's wallet. And I said, I found it outside. I said, anybody contact you yet this morning about a wallet? He says, no. And I said, well, while you're standing here, I'm going to look in the wallet. I could already see it was loaded with cash. There were bills sticking out of this wallet. It had so much cash in it. And I thought, wow, I don't know who this person is, but I'm going to look to see if there's a business card, an ID or something. Found a business card, called the guy. met him right there, gave him the wallet back, and he goes, "Let me give you some cash." I said, "No." I said, if my wallet's lost and you find it one day, give me a call. That's all I ask. And that guy texted me for 3 days. "Thank you so much for returning my wallet. Thank you so much for." Turns out he got a lawn mowing service. Guy worked for a living, which explained all the cash in his wallet. It was a cash business mostly. And if I didn't earn it, I don't have any interest in it.
Same thing happened to me. I found a wallet one time at a gas station and looked in it and found this is before cell phones, but found their home phone number and went back to my house, called them, and said, "Is this your address? I found your wallet." They didn't even know they lost it.
Yeah.
And they had cash in it.
Yeah.
And I brought it over, and the same thing. They said, "Let me give you some type of reward." And I went, "No, I got my reward." They go, "What's that?" I go, "The sound of your voice on the phone and how you're looking right now. That's my reward."
Yeah.
Because I know if I put myself in that situation, how great that would be if somebody – and they said, "We'll come pick it." And I go, "No, I'm heading over there anyway. I'm heading over in that area anyway. I'll bring it over to you." But it's simply – it's not mine.
Well, it's a very simple equation.
It's property rights.
Yeah, well, it is.
If you don't have – you want your property right respected – I want somebody. Then you got to respect other people's property rights.
It's Brian Regan does this famous bit. He's been doing it. I don't know if he still does it, but it's several years old. He says, you always hear growing up, we'd hear, "Crime doesn't pay. Don't do the crime if you can't do the time." He says, "How about don't do the crime because it's wrong?" And it's a very simple equation. I don't consider myself a hero for calling the guy whose wallet I found. It's not my wallet.
No.
I'm not a hero. I didn't save anybody. I saved the guy some money, I guess. But it's a simple equation. I don't see it any other way. But if you are from a culture where it is quite the opposite, and the game is to defraud the government at every turn, and then you come to the states and they make it easier for you to do it to the levels we're reading about here in the Wall Street Journal, it's mind-boggling. It's wrong, and it's not racist to call them out and hold them accountable.
And that's not the only thing. And we'll continue with what's not the only thing coming up. We are Red Eye Radio.
This morning's USDA Farm Report is brought to you by House Products. Tested, trusted, guaranteed since 1920.
Have you already dropped because you shopped, rather over-shopped, for Christmas and holiday gifts both at retail stores and online? According to University of Arkansas Extension's Laura Hendricks.
Holiday gift giving can be a major stressor. I think people put a lot of pressure on themselves.
With what is left of your holiday shopping, or for use going forward, take a moment and consider
really thinking through what your budget is and the smartest way to use the money that you have.
As it is easy for many of us to get caught up in the holiday spirit.
Wanting to make the holidays special for our friends and family, and that can lead to overspending. So that kind of enthusiasm around the holidays could end up with debt problems or even more financial stress if you're having trouble making regular ends meet because you overspent during the holidays.
She says having a spending goal up front, even now if you're already in the middle of holiday gift shopping, can help. I'm Ron Bain reporting for the U.S. Department of Agriculture in Washington, D.C.
This report brought to you by Cenex Fuels and Lubes.
Lines open for your calls. 866-90-RED-EYE on Red Eye Radio.
We're Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Coming up on the bottom of the hour, we'll have the audio cut from a Republican legislator in Minnesota that is bringing up, what did Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison know about this? And he's making the allegation that he was caught meeting with Somali operatives, and they offered him campaign cash he later on accepted. So it's not just the culture of Somalis.
Yeah.
It's the culture of a place that's extremely left, that if you ignore the red flags of fraud, you are enabling it, and in my opinion, endorsing it.
Anything for the vote.
Right. What is the culture that exists there?
Yeah. No, it's a great point.
We have to examine the culture here in the United States, the cultural rot inside the United States that also exists too.
Well, with the Democratic Party and the left, you see it giving deference to the criminal, giving deference to the terrorists, in supporting Hamas. We've seen this over and over with them. It's no different. Look the other way. Hey, if I get some votes out of it, it helps my campaign. I'm willing to let it happen.
Catch Red Eye Radio live every night on the Red Eye Radio app. Available in the App Store. Red Eye Radio.
And he is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Welcome and good morning. So I want to play this audio, Eric. This is from the Minnesota legislature. And this is Representative Harry Niska, a Republican, and discussing Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellerson's role in the massive fraud scandal. Listen to how many times Democrats interrupt him.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
There you go.
Recently released audio recordings reveal conversations that happened between the Attorney General and individuals who were later implicated and in some cases convicted in the Feeding Our Future scandal. In those recordings, the Attorney General...
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
State your point of order.
Masons 124, paragraph 1, in debate, members must confine remarks to questions before the body and avoid personalities. The debate here is not any individual. It is the policy and the amendment.
Representative Niska.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Attorney General was asked in those recordings to use his authority to protect businesses under investigation for wrongdoing, and rather than distance himself or remain neutral to allow the legal process to unfold, he responded in those recordings, "Of course, I'm here to help."
Mr. Speaker, point of parliamentary inquiry.
State your point of parliamentary inquiry.
Mr. Speaker, there was a point of order, and I didn't hear a ruling or any resolution of the point of order. Was there a resolution to it?
I'll remind the body that there was no ruling made by the Speaker as to the point of order that was just stated. Representative Niska.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Attorney General in those recordings even urged the individuals, let's go fight these people. He was offered campaign contributions during that meeting, contributions that he later accepted. The release of those audio recordings raises questions about what's going on in the Attorney General's office that go directly to the need to pass the legislation that we had previously debated, House File 20. Although he has insisted that nothing came of the meeting, his office blocks disclosure of closed investigative
point
data.
Of order.
Masons 124.
The A11 will help ensure that what happens behind closed doors in the Attorney General's office sees the light of day. We can protect people's privacy while shining a light on what the Attorney General's office is doing, who is influencing that office, whether it's those under a criminal investigation, nonprofits, corporations, or billionaires with political agendas, because Minnesotans have a right to know when their Attorney General's office is working with them. Minnesotans have a right to know whether the Attorney General is telling the truth, that nothing came of that meeting.
There you go.
Yeah.
And that's, that's now what's going to come down the pike is now media, the FBI, everybody starts looking at Minnesota now. And how did this happen? How did it go on for such a long time? Because remember, this fraud goes back to COVID.
Yeah.
This isn't like it happened a month ago and they haven't gone on it.
Right.
The red flags were up there. I mean, you've got that one, the one employees group, that Minnesota employees group of a couple of hundred employees that have been on this for a significant period of time, and they're out and outright making the accusation that everybody knew.
They knew.
Everybody knew what was going on and did nothing about it.
Yep.
And so, that's what's going to
because it's in situations like this.
I mean, by the way, the FBI's already looked into it because as we know, people have already been indicted and all that. But
right.
it's going to continue the investigation of who knew what when.
Well, and the point made too in I think it was in the article from the Wall Street Journal of who knows what other things are going on. I mean, you pretty much have to investigate. You would think that a state would be eager to look and just audit everything top to bottom right now. Of course, the Democrats don't want to do that. Tim Walz doesn't want to do that. Of course he doesn't. He's busy fixing his football truck or whatever manly thing he's doing today. This is absolutely on the leaders of those in elected office of that state. And if it's true that a great number of them knew this was going on and did nothing, my gosh, that's just tragic. That is absolutely tragic. This isn't a Trump witch hunt. You've got people inside the state, the state employees, government workers, and others saying, no, we knew what was going on. They knew what was going on and did nothing. And now this thing rises to the surface. Wow. I don't know. First of all, it depends on how deep it goes. And what other items there might be, they might find along the way. But, man, I don't know how bad politically this might be. First of all, I don't see Tim Walz as the future of the Democratic Party. I just don't. But this isn't going well for him.
We didn't see that before
We
this.
didn't see that before this. He's not one of the rising stars. He's quite the opposite. He's grossly incompetent. And that's another point, too. Either they didn't know, which means they're grossly incompetent, or they knew, and they're lying to the people of Minnesota.
Well, the story we brought up, because remember, that employees group emailed Harris last year.
Yeah.
And said, you know what's going on here? You don't want this guy.
Right.
This and the funny thing is, what I think is hilarious about that is they went to Harris to talk about incompetence of somebody else.
Clearly not understanding the room, not reading the room properly. Yeah, but it's and you can look at situations like this, and when they tell you, "Oh, we didn't have any idea," then that's gross incompetence. You have no business in office. But we're going to find out. This is not going away. I think there's a lot more to come from this situation.
Yeah, because you look at it and you're just like, how many people? You don't have this kind of massive fraud with 86 individuals already indicted where more people around didn't know about it.
Right. No, because think about it. Like the one fraudulent program and service that the person provided allegedly for, or was supposed to be, for autistic children, and then got parents involved, and the parents are getting a kickback. Well, the parents knew, and then the parents said, "Oh, we want more money. We want a bigger kickback." Of course, with that much money involved and that many people involved, it never was a secret. It never was a situation that was not going to be learned by everyone in elected office. I don't buy for a moment they didn't know.
One of the points Kimberly Strassel made, the lesson of Minnesota's fraud, and it sort of fits what we said earlier. This is everything that's wrong with liberalism you can find in this story.
Yeah.
Not everything.
Yeah. Well,
all right. That was going too far.
Many of the core elements.
But what happened here is what's wrong with the Democratic Party. The Minnesota story in which Somali fraudsters bilked taxpayers out of more than $1 billion has many ugly storylines to choose from. It's a parable of failed assimilation and the need for policies that heat the melting pot. It's another warning of identity politics, of fraudsters using minority-owned status to cash in and then crying racism to evade any type of scrutiny. It's a scandal of politicians who look the other way, more eager to win votes than to enforce the law. Yep.
Yeah.
Because at the root here, this is a story of broken welfare, of the federal government that shovels more than $1 trillion annually into more than 80 major anti-poverty programs and countless minor ones, a system too complex to ensure even basic integrity. And a state, this goes back to Milton Friedman, who said, if you're going to do welfare,
just write a check to the people.
Just write a check directly to the
recipient,
people.
yeah.
Don't have this bureaucracy set up,
right?
Because the bureaucracy will take up so much of the money, and the possible fraud increases with the number of people that are involved in it.
Right.
If it's a government giving it directly to the person,
yeah.
And he wasn't endorsing welfare.
But if you're going to do it.
If you're going to do it, here's how to do it. That's what it reminded me of. But a system too complex to ensure even basic integrity, and a state that preened as a model of social welfare its own lavish benefits, drawing many immigrants, invited a plundering. When you say, come here and we'll give you everything, they are.
Well, look, you're setting up essentially what? An organized crime situation, because if it's well known in any community, and I don't care what ethnicity or who the people are or what nation they're from, but if it's known, hey, this is going on here, and this is a hotbed that people are getting away with it and profiting at this level, it's no different than organized crime.
Well, the mob, from what I hear, is very upset. They just went, oh, come on, it's Minnesota.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on. We weren't going to go to Minnesota.
Hey, we don't live in the Midwest.
Now we have to rethink that.
Yeah.
By the way, Shamrock is back again this week.
Oh, your character.
My character in that independent.
You're playing an Irish mobster?
I'm playing an Irish mobster. We have a shoot 10 a.m. on Saturday morning or Sunday morning.
Sunday
morning. So
yeah,
I'm back again.
You're even working your tendonitis into that character.
Where I limp a little bit.
Yeah, the storyline is.
Maybe I'll do that. I got to limp a little bit. That's something.
He got wounded. As a mobster or something.
Now remember, I'm the only Irish mobster. I'm the only Irish guy in the Italian.
Well, that makes it even better.
Yes, that's why my name's Shamrock.
Right.
Because the Don said, we can't. We're not going to call you the M word.
Yeah.
Mick, the slang.
Oh yeah.
He said because my name was Mickey, and so. Decided to call me Shamrock.
All right.
Leprechaun, they said, no, they didn't want to call me Leprechaun.
It's too magically delicious.
But we do. That'll be fun this week because but they write here, the U.S. welfare debate is long centered on the failed outcomes of overly generous government programs, the long-term dependency and loss of dignity, the discouragement of work, the damage to family structures. We've had many rounds of this discussion, from the fallout over the New Deal and Great Society to welfare queens of the 1990s. Today's vast outlays and falling labor force participation rates are proof that the failure is becoming deeper.
Bingo.
According to the Center of Immigration Studies, the share of U.S.-born working-age men not in the labor force was about 11% in 1960. It is now 22% today.
Wow.
But Minnesota raises to alarm level a separate need for reset. The system itself, the government machine, is broken.
Well, that's it. Then you got to stop the cash flow. First thing. Some of the states that said, even with like unemployment benefits, okay, we're going to limit that. We're going to come in and limit that. But Medicaid, able-bodied people on Medicaid?
Yeah.
These are all, again, very simple equation.
And, you can use the race card isn't going to work for Democrats in this.
No, it is not.
It's not going to work.
It absolutely is not.
It's not going to.
Nope.
People are going to go, no, sorry. This is massive fraud.
Yep.
It's a crime.
Yep.
And remember, you took food out of children's mouths. You took away money for truly autistic kids.
Yep.
And from what the allegations are, a ton of politicians in Minnesota ignored the red flags.
Yep.
This is bad across the board.
Oh, I think it's going to get worse.
We are Red Eye Radio.
We'll be right back with more Red Eye Radio with Eric Harley and Gary McNamara.
We are Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. I started thinking about it. $1 billion in a state that has 5.8 million people.
Wow. Wow.
And you wonder why you didn't have legitimate social services going crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But you take, $1 billion, 5.8 million people. If that fraud is going on around the nation per capita, you're talking what?
I don't know, 38 trillion?
70, 80 billion dollars?
Oh, yeah, easy. Yeah, probably.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One.